Space was quiet near the edge of the known galaxy. Captain Marla Jensen sat in the command chair of the small human scout ship Aurora. Her crew was only 5 people, but they were the best at what they did: exploration. They had received a strange signal from a dead system. The message was old, broken, and full of static. It simply repeated one line over and over: "Do not follow. She waits. ... We're almost at the station," said Jake, the pilot. His voice was calm, but Marla saw him grip the controls a little tighter. "Scan the area," Marla ordered. "Keep weapons ready, but don't fire unless I say so, Emma." The science officer looked at her screen and frowned. "I'm picking up traces of life, but they don't match anything in the database." The station came into view. It was large, broken in places, and floating near a shattered moon. Debris circled around it like a silent warning. The lights on the station were dim. No ships, no beacons, just a quiet shell from the past. "There's a hangar that looks stable," said Jake. "We can dock there." "All right, suit up," Marla said. "Emma, Jake, you're with me. The rest, stay here and watch our backs." They entered the hangar slowly, weapons ready. The air was thin but breathable. Old bloodstains covered parts of the floor. Strange claw marks were carved into the metal walls. The silence felt heavy. Emma pointed toward a corridor. Something moved there. They followed carefully. Broken lights flickered above. The deeper they went, the more signs they saw: burnt weapons, torn suits, and half-erased messages scratched into the walls. "Run. She hears. Don't look at her eyes." Suddenly, Jake stopped. "Did you hear that?" Marla nodded. A faint sound, like whispering, floated through the hall. They turned a corner and saw something. A figure, tall and thin, with pale skin, stood at the end of the corridor. Her back was turned. She wasn't moving. Emma raised her scanner. "It's alive. ... Barely." The figure turned slowly. Her face was not fully human. Her eyes were large, glowing faintly, and her skin looked like it shimmered with thin lines of silver. She looked straight at Marla, not with anger, not with fear, but with something else. "Recognition. We should fall back," Jake whispered, but Marla didn't move. Her hand slowly reached out, not with her weapon, but empty. The figure tilted her head. Then, without a sound, she vanished into the shadows like smoke. "What was that?" Emma said, her voice shaking. Marla stared at the empty hallway. "I don't know, but she wasn't trying to hurt us." In the control room, she met with the rest of the crew. "We're not leaving yet," she told them. "There's more here. Something. Someone. She's not a threat. Not yet." Emma looked worried. "Captain, people died here. Something terrible happened." "I know," Marla said, "and I need to find out what." Later that day, one of the engineers fell sick. He said he could hear whispers and see flashes of silver light. Emma scanned him and found strange signals in his brain, like someone was trying to connect with his thoughts. "This isn't natural," she said. "It's like something is reaching into our minds." Marla knew it had to be her, the pale woman, but why? What did she want? She returned to the station alone, leaving her team behind. Something deep in her heart told her she had to go. She needed to face the figure again, not with fear but with understanding. And somewhere in the shadows of that broken place, the pale woman was waiting. Space was cold and silent as the small human scout ship glided near a forgotten star system. Captain Marla Jensen stood at the front window of the bridge, her arms crossed. The stars outside looked calm, but the feeling inside the ship was tense. The crew had picked up a strange signal coming from an abandoned space station orbiting a dark, dead planet. The signal was old and broken. It repeated one strange message over and over: "Do not follow. She waits." "Are we sure this place is empty?" asked Jake, the pilot. He looked at his screen, frowning. "No signs of ships, no traffic. It's like the place has been dead for years." Emma, the science officer, leaned over her console. "That's what's strange. The station looks like it hasn't sent or received anything in over a decade. But the signal just started a week ago." Marla didn't like mysteries. She liked facts, orders, plans. This mission had none of those. "We go in," she said. "We're here to scout, and that's what we'll do." The ship moved closer to the station. The metal structure floated in the dark like a ghost. Some of its outer walls were broken. Lights flickered weakly. Parts of it looked like they had been melted. The crew suited up and took a small shuttle to the docking bay. The door creaked open with a low hiss, and the inside of the station was dim and cold. Dust floated in the air. The place smelled old, metallic, and still. Marla led the way. Behind her were Jake, Emma, and 2 others, Milo and Sarah. Each one held a scanner, checking for life signs, movement, anything. No power on most floors. Emma said quietly, but something is pulling energy from the core, something big. They moved through long, empty hallways. Broken screens blinked weak messages. One said containment failed, another said station lockdown active. Sarah stopped and pointed to a wall. A strange message had been scratched into the metal, deep and shaky. It read, "She is not what you think." "Who wrote that?" Milo whispered. "And who is she?" No one answered. They entered the central hub of the station. Chairs were overturned. Equipment lay scattered. Marla noticed something on the floor, long, black claw marks. They didn't look human. Emma knelt beside them. Whatever made these, it was strong. Suddenly the lights flickered. A low hum filled the air. Then something moved. At the far end of the room, just beyond a broken door, a shape shifted in the shadows, tall, thin, too graceful to be human. It stood still, almost like it was watching them. "Identify yourself," Marla called out. No answer. The shape moved again, slowly backing into the dark. "It didn't run," Jake said. "It just left. But that was years ago," Jake said. "How is she still alive?" Emma looked around nervously. "Maybe she's not fully alive. Or maybe she adapted." They heard something again. Footsteps, light, slow, behind them. Marla turned fast. Weapon ready, but nothing was there. "We're being watched," she said. "Everyone, back to the shuttle." But when they returned to the docking bay, the shuttle's controls were dead. Wires were torn, and the doors jammed shut from the outside. "We're trapped," Milo said. Voice tight. Marla single quotes as come crackled. A voice came through, soft, calm female. "You shouldn't have come here, but now you belong." Everyone froze. "That's not possible," Emma whispered. "That voice, it's in my head." The others nodded slowly. They had heard it too, not through their ears, but through their minds. "She's psychic," Marla said quietly, "and she's still here." They stood in silence as the station creaked and groaned. Something was moving through the walls, watching, waiting, and though none of them said it out loud, they all felt the same thing. The monster hadn't attacked them. She was studying them, and something about her felt lonely. The crew of the scout ship stood frozen in the broken docking bay. The soft voice they had heard was still echoing in their minds. It hadn't come through the speakers. It had entered their thoughts directly, and it didn't feel cruel or angry. It felt calm and almost curious. Captain Marla Jensen narrowed her eyes. "Everyone stay close. No one separates. Milo, check the shuttle again. See if anything can be fixed." Milo rushed to the control panel and opened the side hatch. The wires were torn carefully, not smashed. It looked like someone or something had removed just what they needed to make escape impossible. "It's not random," he said. "This was done with precision." Marla looked toward the dark hallway that led deeper into the station. Her mind felt strange, like it was too quiet inside, like something was waiting to speak again. "Emma," she said, "you said the alien project was called Harmony. Does the database say what species they were trying to combine?" Emma checked her scanner again. "There's only fragments, but it says she was taken from an uncharted system. Her kind was psychic, very rare, very misunderstood." Jake shifted uneasily. "So they took a psychic alien, ran tests on her, and trapped her here when it went wrong." Emma nodded. "And now she's still here, watching us." Marla made a choice. "I'm going in." The others turned to her in surprise. "Captain, that's not safe," Jake said quickly. "We don't even know what she wants." "That's why I'm going," Marla replied. "She hasn't hurt us. She could have easily. Instead, she's sending messages. I think she wants to talk." Milo stepped forward. "I'll go with you." Marla shook her head. "No, if something happens, the rest of you need to stay safe and get that shuttle working again. I'll keep comms open." They watched as Marla walked into the hallway, her flashlight barely cutting through the dark. The air was cold and still. Each step echoed. The silence wrapped around her like a thick blanket. After a while, she entered a large room. The walls were made of glass, and inside were tanks, empty now, but once used for experiments. Old tools lay broken, chairs were overturned, and in the center of the room was a chair, larger than the others, with silver straps. She stepped closer. "This is where they changed me." The voice returned, softer now, but more focused. Marla turned around slowly. The pale figure stood near the shadows. She was tall, thin, and graceful. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. Marla didn't reach for her weapon. "You're her, aren't you? The one they called the monster?" The figure tilted her head. "That is what they called me, but I was never a monster, not until they made me one." Marla looked into her eyes. They weren't full of rage, they were full of sadness. "Why did you bring us here?" "You called out," the alien said. "Your mind, it reached farther than the others. I felt your strength, Your pain, your discipline. I was drawn to it. Marla felt her heartbeat slow. Her thoughts were clear, but it was like she could also feel something else, memories that weren't hers. Pain, fear, loneliness. The alien was sharing them with her. They used you for research, Marla said. Yes, the alien replied. I came in peace. They wanted to control my mind. When they couldn't, they broke my body instead. Marla stepped closer. But you survived. You've been alone here for years. Too long, the alien said softly. The hunger came, after not for food, but for connection. Psychic beings cannot live without minds to touch. Suddenly, Marla understood. The sickness in her crew, the headaches, the dreams, it wasn't an attack. It was the alien reaching out, searching for someone who could understand her. You're not trying to hurt us, Marla said quietly. You're trying to survive. The alien took a step forward. The light touched her face now. Her skin was pale. Jake looked toward the hallway. Do we pull her back? Emma hesitated. Not yet. I think she's making contact. Captain Marla Jensen sat on the cold floor of the abandoned lab, facing the alien woman in silence. No threats were made, no weapons drawn. It was not a battle, it felt more like two lonely minds trying to understand each other. The pale alien moved slowly and sat down across from Marla. Her long fingers touched the broken metal of her old chair, the same place where she had once been tested and changed. They said you were dangerous, Marla whispered, but you've done nothing to hurt us. The alien looked up, her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. They feared what they didn't understand. I came in peace. I only wanted to learn about your kind. Marla leaned back against the wall. Her head felt light, not dizzy, but like her mind was no longer alone. You've been in this place for years, haven't you? The alien nodded. Time is strange here. I slept sometimes, but the hunger always returned. Marla looked at her, confused. You keep saying hunger, but you're not feeding on us like some predator. The alien gave a soft smile, barely there. No, it is not your body I seek. It is the spark in your mind. Your thoughts, your emotions. They are warm, alive. I need that to stay strong. Without connection, I begin to fade. Marla thought for a moment. So, the headaches, the dreams, it's you reaching out. Yes, I did not want to harm your crew. I was careful, but your mind, it shines brighter. It called to me. Monotonous. Face grew serious. Then why trap us here? You damaged our shuttle. The alien looked down. Because I was afraid. You were the first humans to arrive since the others. The ones who built this place. I didn't know if you would help me. Or break me again. Marla's heart ached. This woman, this creature, had been locked away, feared, studied, and left behind. Not a monster. Just someone changed and forgotten. What's your name? Marla asked again. The alien paused. I used to be called Ira. In my language it meant gentle sky. Ira, Marla repeated softly. It suits you. Ira looked up at her, and for the first time she smiled real and full. Suddenly, Marla felt something inside her chest. Not pain, but a wave of warmth. She could feel Ira's emotions passing into her mind. Not words, just feelings. Loneliness, relief, curiosity, and something deeper. Something close to admiration. Back on the ship, Emma stared at the monitors. Marla's heart rate had slowed, but her brain activity was strange. She's sinking, Emma said. Their minds are connecting. Jake frowned. Is that safe? Emma hesitated. I don't think she's in danger. But if they link to long, Marla might start to feel what the alien feels. Even think like her. We need to go in, Jake said, standing up. No, Emma replied quickly. Marla went in alone for a reason. If we interrupt now, it might break that trust. Deep in the station, Marla stood again and looked around the lab. You were trapped here, Ira. Used your story deserves to be heard. Ira rose as well. But your people may still fear me. They will not understand. Then we make them understand, Marla said. You're not the monster they warned us about. I can speak for you. I can show them the truth. Ira stepped closer, only inches away from Marla now. Her presence was soft but powerful. Why are you not afraid of me? Marla held her gaze. Because fear is a choice, and I choose to believe in what I've seen. You're not evil, you're just alone. Ira's fingers brushed lightly against Marla's arm. The touch was cold, but it didn't hurt. It felt like light passing over her skin. Marla didn't pull away. I don't want to be alone anymore. Ira whispered in her mind. Marla nodded slowly. You're not. But something changed in that moment. A deep echo rang through the station, a sharp sound, like a pulse. Both women turned quickly. Emma S voice came through Marla's earpiece. Captain, we've got company. A ship just dropped out of warped military class. They're sending drones into the station. Marla's eyes narrowed. How did they find us? Our beacon must have been picked up, Emma replied. They're from Central Command. They think we're in danger. Ada stepped back, her glow fading slightly. They'll try to take me again. No, Marla said, turning toward her. They'll have to go through me first. Marla ran down the corridor with Ira close behind. The dim lights of the station flickered as alarms began to flash red. The military ship had activated a scan pulse, and now it knew something strange was on board. Emma, Marla said into her earpiece. How many drones did they send in? At least 3, Emma replied. They're scanning the station. STANDARD search pattern. They'll reach your location in 5 minutes. Lock down the docking bay. Don't let them take control of our shuttle. Understood, Marla. Stopped at a corner, breathing hard. She looked at Ira. The alien woman stood quietly, her eyes alert, her expression calm, but Marla could feel her fear in her mind. It was like a soft hum, sad and worried. They don't know the truth, Marla said. If they see you, they'll assume you're hostile. We need to get to the core chamber. I can talk to them from there. Ira nodded. You still trust them, not all of them, but some will listen. They moved quickly through the stations. Lower levels, every hallway they passed had mark scars from the past. Marla saw old names scratched into doors, forgotten warnings, and signs of a battle long ago. EIRA walked beside her like a shadow. Marla noticed how careful she was, Neville tore. Marla raised her arms. This is Captain Marla Jensen of the HS Aurora. Stand down. She is not a threat. The drone paused for a moment. Then it turned toward Ira and fired a net of blue energy. But Ira reacted first, with a sudden movement. Her eyes lit up, and a wave of psychic force pushed the drone against the wall. Its parts sparked and dropped to the floor. Marla stared. You didn't hurt it, just disabled it. Ira lowered her hands. I only defend when needed. They rushed into the core chamber. Inside was a control panel linked to the station's systems. Marla activated it and opened a comm channel to the military ship above. This is Captain Marla Jensen. Stand down your forces. I've made peaceful contact with the alien entity on the station. A moment of silence. Then a voice replied, firm and official. Captain Jensen, you are in a restricted zone. We received your distress signal and are here to remove the threat. There is no threat, Marla said clearly. Her name is Ada. She was captured and studied here. Your files call her Subject 0. She's not hostile. She's intelligent, peaceful, and she saved my life. Your connection has been compromised, the voice said. Prepare for evacuation. We will secure the alien. Ira's hands curled into fists. They will not listen. Marla turned to her. Then we make them listen. She opened a video feed. Ira stood beside her, calm and silent. This is the face you fear, Marla said into the camera. This is the monster in your files. But she didn't attack us. She warned us. She reached out. She tried to understand. Captain, you are risking court-martial, the voice warned. Maybe, Marla said, but I'm not letting you take her like cargo. Suddenly, a second voice came through the comsofter, older. This is Admiral Parks. Stand by, Captain. We're reviewing the footage. Marla waited as silence filled the room. Ira stood very still. Her glow dimmed slightly. I don't want to be used again, Ira whispered in her mind. If they take me, I will disappear forever. They won't, Marla said. Not while I'm here. After a few minutes, the Admiral spoke again. Video feed is being transmitted to High Command, he said. We've paused the drone retrieval for now, but we need more data. What proof do you have that this being can be trusted? Marla stepped closer to Ira. Because she trusted me first. Because she didn't run. Because she's been alone for years and still didn't turn into a weapon. She chose connection over revenge. The comm went quiet again. Outside, the red lights dimmed. The alarm faded. Emma single quotes. Voice broke the silence. They're standing down for now. Marla exhales. She looked at Ira. You're safe. Ira reached out and touched Marla's hand. Her touch was cool, but gentle. You stayed, she whispered. Marla nodded. I'm not going anywhere. A pause. Then the Admiral's voice softened a shade. Very well. Ira, you are invited to address the Fleet Council. Transmit your statement now. Ira stepped closer to the console. Her luminous eyes reflected the blinking lights. She didn't know human protocol, but Marla felt her gather courage. I am Ira. Her voice rang directly through the open line, spoken without sound, yet recorded clearly by the mics. Your people found me long ago and promised peace. Instead they feared my mind, broke my body, and left me alone in the dark. I do not seek revenge. I seek connection, let me live. I will share my knowledge and heal the harm done. The chamber filled with silence again. Marla could almost hear hearts beating on the distant ship. But a sharp second channel cracked too. Life. A young, hard voice barked. This is Commander Rudd of the escort frigate Falcon. We cannot trust a telepathic entity. Commencing capture protocol in 3 minutes. Marla swore under her breath. Admiral, what is this? Parks sounded angry now. Stand down, Rudd. Those are not your orders. No answer only. The hiss of a clothesline. Emma's voice came through tight. Multiple assault pods just launched. From the Falcon, Eta, 2 minutes. Milo, still in the docking bay, added, their pods will dock on the opposite side. We can't seal that bulkhead, it's too damaged. Marla looked at Ira. They're coming. Ira's shoulders trembled. I will not go back to the chair. Marla squeezed her hand. Then we stop them without killing anyone. Can you disable their systems like you did the drone? Ira shut her eyes. Thin silver lines pulsed under her skin. Yes, but it will drain me. The hunger grows when I use my gift. Marla understood. Every strong push of her mind cost Ira precious energy she could only replace by touching another mind. The truth flashed clear. Ira needed her, and Marla felt that need like warm fire in her chest, frightening and comforting at once. She was becoming Ira's anchor, maybe even her addiction, but right now, that bond was their best hope. Emma, Marla said, link my suit's neural feed to the open channel. Let the Admiral see, let everyone see exactly what happens next. Captain, that'll put your brainwaves on public record, Emma warned. Do it. Marla insisted that the feed went live. Numbers scrolled, matching Marla's mind to Ira, in real time. Then heavy thuds echoed through the station boarding pods, slamming into the distant hull. Metal claws tore at old airlocks. Ira raised her hands. A silver glow shimmered around her. Marla felt a gentle pull in her thoughts as if tides were passing through her memories. It didn't hurt. Instead, images blossomed. A wide blue sky. On Ira's homeworld, tall crystal trees, children laughing without sound. Wonder and grief intertwined. Far away, assault doors hissed open, then slammed shut again as locks froze. Marla pictured rows of pod controls flickering dead. Through the fleet channel, voices shouted confusion. Systems offline. Target not responding. Ira swayed, her glow dimming. Marla caught her before she fell. I'm all right, Ira whispered inside. Just tired. On the command ship, Admiral Parks's voice returned, sharper than before. Boarding attempt aborted. Commander Rudd is relieved of duty under Article 9. Medical evac teams dispatched to assist your crew, and our guest. Marla let out a slow breath. Thank you, Admiral. We'll meet them in the main hangar. Understood. And Captain, we'll need a full debrief. But that can wait until everyone is safe. The channel closed. Marla eased Ira onto a nearby bench. The alien's pale skin flickered, like candlelight nearly blown out. Emma arrived moments later with a portable medkit. Her vitals were dropping. She needs rest and mental contact. Captain, she's linked deepest with UCAN. You keep talking to her. Marla nodded and knelt beside Ira. She opened her mind, letting gentle thoughts flow, memories of Earth. Sunsets, coffee, aroma, laughter in the mess hall. Each simple picture was a small gift of warmth. Ira's breathing steadied. Color returned to her cheeks. Milo's single quotes as voice crackled in good news. Shuttle controls are patched. We can launch once the med evac meets us. Marla looked at Ira. We're leaving this place together. No more cages. You'll see real stars again. Ira touched Marla's cheek, a faint smile on her lips. I feel your hope. It is sweet. Marla blushed but didn't pull away. Outside, the heavy guns of the fleet powered down. The threat was fading, but new challenges waited. Councils, scientists, fearful admirals. Marla didn't care. She had made her choice. Let them question us, she whispered. We'll show them what trust looks like. The medical shuttle carried Marla, Ira, and 2 fleet medics toward the command cruiser. Through the small window, the broken research station grew smaller until it vanished in the dark. Silence filled the cabin except for the soft hum of engines. Marla watched Ira sleep on the stretcher. The alien woman looked peaceful, but Marla felt a gentle pull in her mind, like a thread that tied them together even while Ira dreamed. The link was warm, comforting, yet it tugged at Marla's strength. A medic named Leah checked Ira's pulse. Her vitals are steady, she said. But I've never seen brainwaves like these. She's a telepath, Marla explained quietly. The readings won't match human charts. Leah gave a small nod and turned away. The medics were polite, but Marla sensed their nerves. Every few seconds they glanced at Ira, half expecting her to wake and read their thoughts. The shuttle docked in the cruiser's main bay. As the doors opened, a group of officers stood waiting with Admiral Parks at the front. Marla stepped out first. Head high. Parks greeted her with a curt bow. Captain Jensen, your report was unusual. Everything in that report is true, Marla said. Behind her, the medics wheeled Ira into view. Gasps rose from some crew members. Ira's silver lines glowed faintly under the medical blanket. Though she was unconscious, her presence felt powerful. Parks signaled the crowd to stand back. We have prepared a secure medical suite, he told Marla. No restraints, as you requested, but heavy shielding in case her abilities surge again. Marla almost smiled. Thank you for honoring that. While the medics guided Ira away, Marla followed Parks to a nearby briefing room. Only a few officers joined them. Holoscreens showed live data from Ira's monitors. Captain, an intelligence officer said, Subject Zero's psychic field is spreading through the ship. It's harmless so far, but if it grows stronger, she can control it. Marla interrupted. She defended herself without lethal force. Give her time to recover, and she'll show you. Parks leaned on the table. Our problem, Captain, is fear. The Fleet Council is divided. Half want to study her, half want her moved to a secret location for safety. Only a handful agree with you. Marla's jaw tightened. You mean they still want a cage? Parks sighed. Politics work slow. You have 12 hours before a decision. Convince them. Marla nodded once. I will. Later, in the medical suite, Marla sat beside Ira's bed. Soft white lights hummed overhead. Ira breathed steadily, yet her mind whispered through the link-broken images of crystal forests. Bright skies. Sudden pain. Marla spoke gently. Ira, can you hear me? Ira's eyes opened. At first they were unfocused. Then they found Marla and softened. You stayed, she said inside Marla's head. I promised. Marla replied aloud. You're safe, but the council must hear your voice. Can you speak to them? Ira sat up slowly. The silver lines on her skin glimmered brighter. I will try, but I am weak. The hunger is stronger here, so many minds so close. Marla felt the tug again, sharper now. Color swam at the edge of her vision. She forced herself to steady breathing. Take what you need carefully, just from me. Ira frowned. You will tire. I can manage. She offered her hand. Ira held it. A gentle rush filled Marla's thoughts. Memories shared. Emotions blended. She felt Ira's loneliness ease, replaced by a soft gratitude. At the same time, Marla sensed her own energy drain a little, like staying awake too long. She accepted the price. After a few minutes, Ira released her hand. Better, she whispered. Marla smiled faintly. Good. The council session starts. Soon I'll stand beside you. The council chamber on the cruiser was wide and round, with tiered seats for delegates and a clear dome overhead showing distant stars. Holographic faces of remote members hovered in blue light. Marla led Ira to the central platform, every eye fixed on them. Admiral Parks opened the session. Delegates, you have read the preliminary report. Before you stands Ira, formerly Subject Zero. You will hear her statement now. Marla squeezed Ira's hand once, then stepped back. Ira lifted her chin. She spoke aloud in soft, accented English, each word slow but clear. I am Ira. I was taken, studied, and left alone. I do not seek harm. I only wish to live among minds that choose to share, not to control. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. One envoy, a stern woman in green uniform, stood. How do we know you won't dominate us the moment we release you? Ira's gaze stayed calm. Because I could do it now, she said gently, yet I do not. I choose respect. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Marla stepped forward. I have shared a direct neural link with Ira. She had every chance to bend my will. Instead, she asked for consent and gave back knowledge in return. That is trust. The stern envoy folded her arms. And if she loses control, Ira answered, then Marla will guide me. Our bond keeps me stable. I wish to learn control among friends, not behind walls. Another delegate, a gray-haired scientist, leaned over the rail. What can you offer us in exchange for this freedom? Ira paused. Then a soft glow spread from her skin. In each mind present, a brief vision bloomed. Vast crystal libraries, healing plants, star maps, older than human history. The images vanished within seconds, leaving the room silent and wide-eyed. Knowledge, Ira said. Yours, if you walk beside me. Silence held for a long breath. Then Admiral Parks spoke. Delegates, your votes are required. Quarantine, confinement, or cooperation. Marla waited, heart pounding. Ira's hand trembled in hers. Lights above each delegate changed from red to green, one by one. Some screens stayed red, but more turned green. Finally, the majority glowed bright. Parks nodded. Motion passed. Ira will receive observer status under Captain Marla Jensen's guardianship. Research will be collaborative and voluntary. Cheers rose from a few seats. Sighs from others. Marla exhaled deeply. Ira's shoulders relaxed. The stern envoy glared but said nothing more. EIRA turned to Marla. Thank you, Marla smiled. Though fatigue weighed on her bones, we're just starting, Ira. Next we find your home. And mine, their fingers intertwined to beings, once strangers, now bound by choice. Far above, the stars shone bright. Tonight, they felt less lonely than ever. Captain Marla Jensen stood on the wide observation deck of the cruiser Valor. The thin curve of the ship's shield shimmered against a field of bright stars. Beneath that gentle glow, a new convoy prepared. For launch, 3 science vessels, 1 medical frigate, and Marla's own scout ship, the Aurora fully repaired and waiting. Their shared mission was clear guide Ira home and open a path for peaceful contact. Marla's crew bustled along the deck, loading supplies and calibrating sensor arrays. Emma and Milo argued cheerfully about the best way to tune psychic scanners so they would assist rather than annoy Ira. Jake checked flight charts, humming an old Earth tune. Everyone moved with a quiet excitement that Marla had not seen since their first days in space. It felt like hope. EIRA stepped beside Marla, her silver-lined skin reflecting starlight in soft waves. She wore a simple exploration suit tailored by fleet engineers. No restraints, no hidden weapons, just a small wrist device that could translate thoughts into spoken words if she grew tired. She looked healthy now, stronger. The hunger inside her still lived, but the bond she shared with Marla tempered it. The council kept their promise, Marla said, nodding toward the fleet. No cages, only cooperation. Ira's voice flowed into Marla's mind, gentle and bright. They choose trust. It is new for them. For me, too. I will honor it. Marla smiled. Our first stop is a long-range relay outpost near your sector. After that, we follow your star maps. Ready? IRA's eyes softened. Ready. The convoy slipped into warp and the stars stretched into silver streams. Inside the Aurora, Marla and Ira sat in the quiet command lounge. Screens displayed steady green lines, life signs, engine readouts, navigation points. All calm. Emma entered, holding 2 steaming cups. Protein tea, she said, offering one to Ira, rich in nutrients and easy on the system. Thought you might like a taste of something human. Ira accepted the cup carefully. She inhaled the sweet vapor, curious. After one small sip, her eyes brightened. Warm, she whispered. It feels like sunrise. Emma's grin widened. That's the honey talking. She turned to Marla. Captain, I ran new tests. IRA's psychic field is stabilizing faster when she shares small sensory experiences, sounds, textures. I think it helps balance the hunger. Then we'll share more, Marla said. Music, stories, whatever she enjoys. Ira touched the rim of the cup thoughtfully. Stories, she repeated with interest. Marla leaned back. All right, you tell me one from your home, and I'll tell you one from mine. So they traded tales. Ira spoke of crystal meadows that sang in the wind, and children who learned to float above the grass by listening to the song. Marla answered with a story of Earth's far north, where people danced under colors in the sky called the Auroran namesake of their ship. Each story knitted their bond tighter. Marla felt the link pulsing like a quiet drum, but it no longer drained her. Instead, it circulated strength between them, balanced, gentle. 6 days later, the convoy reached the relay outpost. Towers of metal stood over a rocky moon, sending signals far into uncharted space. While engineers refueled and logged reports, Marla led Ira through the observation dome. She pointed to a patch of night where faint-colored dust swirled. Thinks your world lies beyond that nebula. The last jump could be rough. Ira stared at the swirling light, emotions trembling through the link. I feared I might never see those lights again, she said. Thank you for guiding me. Marla squeezed her shoulder. We guide each other. An alarm chirped on Marla's wrist. Calm. Captain, Bridge here, Jake's voice said. We have an incoming private message from Commander Rudd. Remember him? Marla's brow furrowed. Rudd was the officer who had tried to seize Ira by force. Route it to my console, she replied. On a nearby screen, Rudd's stern face appeared. His uniform was plain now, stripped of rank. Captain Jensen, he said, tone tight. I've come to apologize to you and to Ira. My fear overruled my duty that day. I was wrong. Marla studied him, sensing no deception. She turned to Ira. He wants to speak. Ira stepped closer to the screen. Rudd's voice trembled slightly. I ask only one chance to make amends. I have cargo seeds, medicinal plants, art files from 40 worlds, gifts for Ira's people. May I join your convoy? Marla glanced at Ira. The alien's eyes shimmered with cautious empathy. Fear changes minds, she said quietly to Marla, but courage changes hearts. We can accept. Marla nodded. Commander, you may rendezvous at the edge of the nebula. Follow our approach vector, and any aggressive action ends the agreement. Understood. Rudd bowed his head. Understood. Thank you. As the screen darkened, Marla felt Ira's hand brush her arm. You protect me, yet you give even my enemies a path. That is rare. Marla shrugged lightly. Humans are complicated. We make mistakes. We try to learn from them. So will I, Ira replied. The final jump to Ira's system was sharp. Turbulence shook the Aurora, but Ira's guidance held them steady. When the warp tunnel opened, Marla gasped. Ahead lay a planet of pale blues and silvers, rings of crystal dust catching the sun in prismatic arcs. Tears shimmered in Ira's eyes. Home, she breathed. The convoy formed a neat line as they approached orbit. Sensors pinged with unknown signal structures on the surface, some active, many silent. Marla opened a broad transmission. This is Captain Marla Jensen, of the human fleet. We come in peace with Ira, daughter of your world. She seeks reunion and dialogue. A long silence followed. Then a chorus of tones filled the channel, musical harmonic, like the sung winds Ira had described. Words flowed in translated bursts. Welcome, Ira. Welcome, humans. Our hearts hear your courage. Land among us and share the dawn. Marla exhaled slowly, smiling across the bridge. Prepare landing sequence, she ordered. Ira turned to Marla. Silver tears traced her cheeks. I was alone for so long, she said. Now my people greet me, and you stand beside me. Marla clasped her hand. We'll walk this road together, Ira. No more cages, only open skies. The Aurora descended through shimmering clouds toward a bright horizon. For Marla, Ira, and everyone watching, the future stretched wide and unknown, yet filled with promise. And in that shared promise, the galaxy's old fears began to fade, replaced by something stronger, the simple, stubborn power of trust.